In the name of God, the Beneficent and Merciful, today is our second lecture of the IELTS series, and we will discuss different alternative exams or testing systems, followed by understanding the IELTS band system, how the IELTS score is decided, and what is the rubric against which the score is decided. So here we go. Other exams or alternative exams that can be considered by the users of English language or given here. The first one is TOEIC, which is Test of English for International Communication. So let's suppose if a candidate wants, or if a user wants to settle in an English-speaking country, he can take this exam, and this will decide his language competency or language competence. The second one is TOEFL, which is Test of English as a Foreign Language. It is an exact alternative, an exact equivalent of IELTS exam, but it is more acceptable in American universities and for American immigration. So for Canada or Australia or the UK, candidate is required to do IELTS. The third one is BEC, Business English Certificate. So if a candidate wants to do some business transactions with English-speaking people, or if a candidate wants to settle in an English-speaking country and establish a business, this certificate is suggested or designed for them. It will improve and enhance their English communication while doing their transactions. First English certificate or first certificate in English. This is a certificate which is designed for everyone, anyone can take it, be it a businessman or a student or a layman. The first certificate in English, if he does this certificate or if he completes this certificate, he is considered to be a good user of the English language. Then we have PTE, Proficiency Test in English. Nowadays this test is also conducted and taken by many people, and they consider it as an alternative exam for IELTS. If someone finds IELTS difficult, then they go for PTE, Proficiency Test in English. This test is also designed to decide the proficiency of non-natives. Now, next, the band system. Keep in mind, as we know that IELTS has 9 bands total, like band 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But the minimum band, which is considered by colleges and universities, even in non-English speaking countries like Gulf region, Oman, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, all these countries do require the students to take an IELTS exam before they are granted admission in the university. So the minimum band which is accepted is 5 band. And the description of this band is: the user has partial command of the language, coping with overall meaning in most situations, though is likely to make many mistakes. Many mistakes, okay? Should be able to handle basic communication in his own field. Now, when we say partial command, this partial command is usually attained by anyone who completes his high school education, because English is taught even in non English speaking countries like Pakistan and in India. Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, UAE, Saudi Arabia, all these countries, they start teaching English right from the very first day of the school. So, in simple words, we can say English is taught from KG1 or FS1. Okay. And so, when a student studies English language for at least like 11 years in his school life, he is expected to attend this partial command. He is expected to understand text written in English language. He is expected to elaborate and to speak about a topic given to him with a bit of preparation. And yes, the examiner accepts or expects him to make mistakes. He is expected to make mistakes. The mistakes could be in spoken English or in written English. Or sometimes the user may demonstrate a wrong understanding of a text read by him. So partial command means, if we just divide this into percentage, we would say a student or a user who has attended, like who can write a 200 words essay with mistakes, not blunders, as I repeat, not blunders, with mistakes. A student who can speak about a topic for 4 or 5 minutes, yes, with mistakes, but is able to convey the meaning or is able to convey the sense or the message. Or a student who can read a 500 600 words text and answer different questions based on the text. Some of them may be wrong, some of them may be correct. So that's partial understanding, partial command of the language. The user is able to communicate, the user is able to understand, the user is able to write, the user is able to speak, but with errors. He is given or he's granted a 5 band in IELTS exam. If a candidate scores 6 band, he is considered competent user of English, and he generally demonstrates effective command of the language despite some inaccuracies, inappropriacies, and some misunderstandings, but can use and understand fairly complex language, particularly in familiar situations. So here the user is expected, for example, I'll just explain it with an example. A student is given a text with, let's say, 10 questions based on the text, so he should be able to answer 5 or 7 questions out of 10. If he can do that, he is considered competent. If a user is given a topic to write about, he should be able to write effectively 200 words or 250 words essay or letter with some mistakes, not many, some mistakes. If a user is given a topic and asked to speak about it, he should be able to explain it, or he should be able to talk about it fluently with appropriate fluency and some mistakes, not many mistakes. I'll explain this when we go to the exam pattern. Like when we go to the exam pattern, how many questions are there, and what band is given if a candidate commits a set of mistakes. So I'll explain it in proper detail when we discuss the exam pattern of IELTS exam. But now we move to 7 band. What is 7 band? It means good user of English. If a candidate scores 7 band, he is considered good user of English language. And usually the doctors or the university graduates, you can say, or the university graduates or like educated people are expected to score at least 7 band if they want to migrate, if they want to settle down in English speaking countries. 7 band is required. But if a candidate really wants to be on a very safer side, or if a candidate really wants to be well secured, he's expected to score 7.5 band. Okay, here now what the description says here: the user has operational command of the language, though with occasional inaccuracies. Occasional, like if a candidate writes 250 words, he makes 4 or 5 mistakes or 6 mistakes, not more than that. 4 or 5 mistakes are considered occasional mistakes, not many. Occasional mistakes or occasional inaccuracies. Okay. Suppose a candidate is given a topic to speak about, and he is able to talk about the topic effectively for 7 or 8 or 9 minutes with, let's say, 4 or 5 minor mistakes in the conversation, then he is considered a good user of English language. And here he should be able to handle complex language situations, and he is expected to have developed detailed reasoning. Now here, if a user wants to score a 7 band, he should be able to answer inferential questions, the questions that are not directly given in the are for which he cannot find direct answers in the text. So he should be able to have good inferential skills. He should be able to answer abstract questions about a situation. Then he is given 7 or 7.5 band. We move to add band. What is meant by add band? And that is, if a user scores 8, he is 8. 8 means he is very good user of the English language. The user has operational command of the language with only occasional unsystematic inaccuracies. When we say 7 band, maybe maybe the user has a poor understanding of a certain tense, and he makes mistakes whenever he uses that tense. Here, the mistakes are very few. Very few means negligible. Let's say a candidate writes something words like 250 or 300 words, so he makes only 2 or 3 up to 4 mistakes, and those mistakes are not very specific, not relate, and those mistakes are not very systematic. If a candidate delivers a speech of 7 to 9 minutes about a topic, and he makes 2 or 3 mistakes, usually here at very good user of English level, the mistakes are usually slips. Even when highly educated people speak, even when we speak our mother tongue, we have slips. So a very good user is expected to have slips, not errors. Mistakes, not errors. Now, what the difference between a mistake and error is? A mistake can be like if a writer, if a user, or if if the speaker of the language is reminded of that mistake, he can go back to the rule and fix his mistake. A mistake is something which can be fixed by us. Like if I make a mistake and I go back to it, reconsider it, like let's say I make a spelling mistake in writing. So when I go back and proofread my text, I can fix that mistake. Or if I write a text, or if I write an essay or letter, and I make some tense mistakes or some punctuation mistakes, so when I proofread it, I can go back, reconsider, and correct those mistakes. So they are considered mistakes. When we say error is something which we don't know about. Even if we see it, we proofread it 100 times, we cannot fix it. So errors cannot be fixed. Mistakes can be fixed by the user. We move to the next band now, which is the highest, which is the perfect band, expert user of English. And even natives are not, I repeat, even high school graduate natives are not expected to be expert users of English. It's not applicable to them. English is their native, it's their mother tongue, it's their native language. As Arabic is the native language of Arabs, and Urdu is the native language of Urdu speaking people. So they are not expected to take exams to demonstrate their understanding. But 9 band is rarely achieved by anyone. The highest band which I have experienced in my life is 8.5. 7.5, 7 and 7.5 are very common. 8 is very rare. 8.5 is, let's say, 2 or 3 people out of thousands. So the user has fully operational command of the language, appropriate, accurate, and fluent with complete understanding. So here, no one is expected to be expert, but if someone wants to apply for immigration, or if someone wants to apply for studies, he's expected to have to score at least 7. 8 is very secure, and 9 is very rare. Now here's the table of all the bands you see here. 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, and 9. Okay, so this is the IELTS band score system, how the IELTS exams are graded and how the band is awarded. If we see it against the common European framework of reference, which is called SAFER, here in our countries, in the non-English speaking countries, A grade is considered high grade, but it's reverse in SAFER. A is considered the lowest, A2 is considered the lowest, B1 low, B2 average, C1 high, and C2 very high. So if a candidate scores 5 band, he is considered B1. If a candidate scores 5.5, he is considered B2. So 3.5 to 4, A2, which is not considered, which is not accepted even by universities in non-native countries or non-English speaking countries. B1, it's 4.5 to 5. Okay, 4.5 is not accepted anywhere in the world, but some universities, some private sector universities, I repeat, some private sector universities in non-native countries or non-English speaking countries may accept a 5. May. If they don't find any other suitable candidates to fill in their seats, they consider 5. I remember one example. I had a Chinese student who was accepted in a university in a medical university. She had 5 band, but her English was so weak that I would go and sit down with her and explain all the lectures in simple English to her. So she had very weak understanding. Now 5.5 is accepted by universities in non-native or non-English speaking countries. 6.5, 5.5 and 6.5. Now if someone really wants to target universities in Australia or in the UK or in Canada or in the US, he is expected to fall here. 7 and 7 to 7.5. It is very much demanded by universities in English speaking countries. But if someone is a very good user of the language, he can score 8. Now usually English language teachers are expected to score 7.5 to 8 band in IELTS exams. Even they are not expected, even professional English language teachers are not expected to score 9. They are expected to score 7.5. If they attain a 7.5, they are considered appropriate candidates for English language teaching positions in the non-English speaking countries. So here it was a brief about the IELTS band system. I will be explaining the structure of the IELTS exams in our coming lecture. If you want to give any suggestion, or if you want to help us improve, you can just drop a comment and write us your suggestions. Thank you.